What I'd like to look at now is how we convert compass to true. Now, I've written already on the paper the sequence that we follow to convert a compass course to a true course. So we have compass, deviation, magnetic, variation, true. Deviation and variation being the two corrections that we make when we move from compass to true. You need to remember this sequence. You have to follow it in the set sequence. I've written to the right here CDMVT, which is the sequence, and a useful acronym to remember would be Cadbury's Dairy Milk Very Tasty. That's perhaps a useful way to remember how to go from compass to true. So let's have a look at an example, and let's call our compass course 150 degrees compass. Our variation is 13 degrees east. Now, we need to find our deviation. Deviation can only be calculated from the ship's head. Do not calculate deviation from a compass bearing. So let's have a look at our deviation card, deviation table, and let's go to 150 degrees. And as you can see, there isn't actually a value given for 150 degrees compass. As it says at the top there, this is the ship's head by compass. Not the compass bearing, ship's head by compass to calculate deviation. Because we haven't got any deviation value for 150 degrees compass, we need to interpolate. So let's write down here 140 degrees compass gives us a deviation of 7.5 degrees east. 160 degrees compass gives a deviation of 4.5 degrees east. So we've copied those from the chart. Okay, our value is 150 degrees compass. So it falls between 7.5 east and 4.5 east. So when we're doing our interpolation and we get a value, it must fall between 7.5 and 4.5. Okay, so the difference between 140 and 160 is 20 degrees. Our difference in deviation is 3 degrees, 4.5 from 7.5. We want 150. So if we go from 140 to 150, that's 10 degrees. 140 to 150, 10 degrees, divided by 20 degrees, which is the total, multiplied by our difference of 3 degrees. So 140 to 150 is the 10 degrees, 20 degrees is the total between the two values, and 3 degrees again is the difference between 7.5 and 4.5 east. So mathematically that value comes to 1.5 degrees. So if we're moving from 140 to 160, we're moving from 7.5 down to 4.5. So it would follow that we would subtract this 1.5 from the 7.5, and that would give us 6 degrees east. So we've moved from 7.5 downwards 1.5 degrees. So we can now write our deviation there as 6 degrees east. Okay, we need to apply that now to get our magnetic value. Do we add it or do we subtract it? Again, a useful acronym for us is the word cadet. If we go from compass to true, so we're going from compass to true, we add east. Compass to true, add east. The value is east, therefore we add it. So we have a value magnetic of 156. As I said earlier, the variation was 13 degrees east. Again, compass to true, add east, therefore our true course is 169. So if we wanted to know what our compass error is, let's write down our deviation and variation. And we had our deviation 6 degrees east, variation 13 degrees east. Because they're both the same east, we add them and we would have a total compass error of 19 degrees east. Had the variation been, say, 13 degrees west, we would have then subtracted the 6 degrees from the 13 and called our error 7 degrees west. So if they're different east and west, you subtract one from the other. If they're named the same, as we have here, they're added. Now you've got your compass error. If you'd taken compass bearings at the time of getting our ship's head of 150, let's say we'd got two bearings, let's say 156 and 211 degrees compass, two bearings of objects. We now need to get the true bearings so that we can plot them on our chart. So all we do, we can apply our compass error 19 degrees east, 19 degrees east to these two bearings. Compass to true, add east. Compass to true, add east. So we have a bearing of 175 true and 230 degrees true. The most important thing to remember is that when calculating deviation, you have to use the ship's head by compass. And looking at our table here, ship's head by compass, deviation. Do not use your compass bearing to calculate the deviation. Once you've obtained your compass error, you can then apply that to the bearings to obtain true bearings.